Making a matcha latte has become one of my favorite traditions, and I always start with getting my audiobook going. Right now I'm listening to The Goldfinch, and it is such a great book. You guys have to check it out. And then I go ahead and I grab all the ingredients out. So you will need matcha. This is by no means the best matcha out there. This is an affordable brand of matcha that you can find on Amazon. And then because this is non-dairy, I'm using oat milk, but certainly you can use soy milk, you can use almond milk. Oat milk has a really nice creamy texture, and that's why it's so nice to use. And then optionally, you can use a little bit of honey to actually sweeten your matcha latte. I go back and forth between using honey, but it is pretty yummy when you include it. And all the tools that you'll need is a half of a teaspoon, measuring teaspoon. You'll need a mug, and I prefer mugs that have a wider top to them, and that way you can do a lot of whisking and mixing in there instead of actually mixing in a bowl. And so you just need something to mix with. And I use this whisk, but you can also use a fork or anything like that. So very intuitively, all you gotta do is pour your milk into the cup, and if you want a cold matcha latte, then you don't need to do this step, but I actually heat my milk up for about a minute. So I just go ahead and I pop this right into the microwave, and when it's out, I use a milk frother because I'm a huge fan of frothy milk. I think for me it feels more like a treat, sort of a luxurious experience that you would get if you went and you bought a latte at an actual cafe. So I actually have this Nespresso milk frother. It was a hand-me-down from my parents. They weren't using it, so they let me have it. But I'll go ahead and link it down below because I think it adds a really nice touch to whatever you're doing, and it's so easy to use. You literally put in the hot liquid and press a button and you have beautifully frothed milk. So while that is actually going, I get started on the matcha. So I just add a tiny bit of water to the cup that I had the oat milk in, and this I'm going to heat up in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that's enough for it to be hot and close to boiling but not boiling. I then go ahead in with the matcha and I measure out a half of a teaspoon, and I just place that in the hot water and you just whisk it up. It's super simple. It's really easy. You don't need a lot of water. I think that's a common misconception. You just need a little bit. You could even use less than what I'm using right now, but I find that this creates a really light textured matcha. And then I just whisk it until there are bubbles covering the entire surface. And once that's done, I combine the milk, which of course my camera cut out in its most satisfying part, but I just pour in the frothed milk and then I sweeten to taste. So I'm just using about like a half of one of these little spoons of all natural honey, and I just combine that in. If you're having a cold matcha latte, I would recommend combining it with the hot matcha itself first before adding the milk, and that way the honey will dissolve better. And then you have a delicious dairy-free matcha latte to enjoy with whatever you're doing. I love if I have time to sit by my window and just listen to my book or read my book and just sip it. It's so peaceful and relaxing. I hope you guys liked this video. I know it was quick, but a lot of you had requested of how I made my matcha, so everything is linked down below, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night.